Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, nice to see you all here. And just a couple of things that I would like to say. First of all, say thank you for this initiative to HUL, because this is important. Debates like this are important. And I really feel that what is happening now is that debates are so, they're not normal anymore. People are not talking and having a conversation. We are all shouting at each other. We are all fighting with each other. And there's just so much aggression about everything. And which I suppose is the natural way of things with, more people, resources being less, everybody fighting for their small resources. We are doing what is most natural to do. So I think the need for, and the of the hour, need of the day is to tone down that aggression, to understand compassion, to reach inside ourselves and to reach to that compassion, which is a very part of the human nature. Compassion is something which I feel is so uniquely human. I mean, animals live their life, they do that in jungle, they get on with it, it's wildlife. They are not feeling compassion beyond the point for the prey that they kill and eat, because that's their need. It's humans who need that but will still feel compassion, but we also overdo that need. So it is time for us to reach that in ourselves and teach our kids that. I feel somewhere in this rat race that we are running, we are all forgetting the simple thing like compassion and teaching that to our children. So for me, that was one of the things that was a major thinking point when I had a child and when I started thinking about what I need to do, what is it that I want to do, what do I want to give to my child. And there was this whole debate that was going on in me. What is this one thing? Because see, there are a lot of things that we want to give our children. We all need to come down to that one thing that I desperately want him to have, without which I don't want my child to grow up. And when you actually come down to everything between the thousands and lakhs of things that you want your child to have, I came to one thing, and that was I wanted my child to grow up knowing compassion for everything and everybody. And as long as he can feel that, he can be a better human being, he'll have the values that we talk about. The key word for me was compassion. And that's where the book, The Modern Gurukul, came about, where the problem I realized was that, when I went back into understanding how were we being brought up, what was the Gurukul system, what was happening in it. So yes, it is the modern Gurukul because it talks about how we apply it today. Obviously, we are not going to the jungles, we don't even have them anymore. So we are not sending our children away to be educated in a Gurukul. So the point being, we need to bring that home. What was that one thing that is missing? They were teaching them arts and culture and sciences and maths and everything was happening. But there was also spiritual learning that was happening. There was a teacher who was leading a model life which the children were following, which is missing. And it's not fair to expect our teachers to be doing that. They're doing a job, they're getting paid a salary. It's what we need to do and bring that home. The Gurukul needs to come home. The spirituality, the compassion needs to be taught at home. Everything cannot be outsourced to the school and we put that, oh, the school is not teaching. We are supposed to do that. Home is the first school. And that's where the book came about. That's where this whole talking point came about for me. And so when you came up with this idea, and if you're going to activate this, and with all of you opinion makers, as Minnie said it, being here, it's very, very important that we at least start talking about these simple things which are actually the most important things in life. So I hope we have a good discussion here today. It's a really great panel and I think it's an honor to be here. And I'm really enjoying and happy that I'm a part of this discussion, which means so much to me. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Sonali. We'll discuss a little bit more about what's in your book a bit later. But Dr. Shahani, you of course are the ultimate word. We really want to hear what you have to say.
Very good afternoon and thank you so much, Priya. I can't believe that I'm sitting here while an examination is going on in my college, but I think this is as important as an examination that's going on in the college. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you 3 quick things, but before that, let me tell you what happened this morning, because that's live from the college. We have these examinations going on, and then we have re-examinations going on for students who have not been attending, or for students who are sports or have been ill and so on. And we follow up with these students to see that they must attend because the exam is very important, because without that they cannot go ahead. So this morning I was told that They've not been able to contact 2 students throughout in the last 1 month. So finally they've been able to contact the father of one of the students, and he will see me. So I said, okay, I'll see him before coming here. The exam was starting at 11 o'clock. So I met him at 9:30, and I said to him, I said, you know, your son hasn't been coming to the college. And then he looks around and he says, no, has he not been coming to the college? I said, no, he's not been coming to the college. So he said, but he leaves home and he comes. So I said, I'm sorry, but here are the attendance records, and today is the exam. If he's not here, he doesn't graduate. He said, really? I said, when, can I ask you just one question? When was it last you met your son? And he said, you know, I've been traveling and I came back last night, so I really don't know, but let me WhatsApp him, all right? So, what does that mean? As Sonali said, does the principal of the college, the teachers of the college have to take up the parenting? Do we have to become parents? I said, sir, we've tried all his WhatsApps, we've tried all his phone numbers, we've all tried all his friends, we've tried, but we have not been able to get through. And the father couldn't also get through, so he could not sit for the exam. What's going wrong? And I have 7,000 of these students every year, but I've been noticing some things which I thought I'd share with you. Number one, I do a large number of interviews in the college with students coming in with their parents, and these are not interviews just because they've not been attending, but these are interviews when they are entering my college. I want to see what kind of students am I getting, so I do random interviews. Let me tell you how I've been able to do a study, and maybe both of you who are writing these great books can take this study over and write about it. When the young man or a young woman enters my room with their parents, I started noticing the behavior of the young students and started making my own study, which I didn't realize.
Well, what you said about elite school would be something that would be said that my son goes to the so-called elite school.
And so does mine, but I'm always grappling about it.
Yeah, and there are a lot of times when there's a lot of discussion on it, and I would like to, there was a question I asked myself. What did my parents do? When they sent me to the school, they sent me to the best school that they could send me to. So as a parent, I need to provide the best thing that I can provide to the child. Now that it's our duty also while providing it to tell or make the child understand that it's a privilege and everybody doesn't have it. Now there are various ways that it can be done. In Ranveer's school, now as he goes into, as he will go into MYP, there's a very strong, their social services a very strong message which has marks for it. So they have to do projects, they have to come up with projects where they're giving back to the society. So the school is doing its bit. From my side, the other thing that happens is that be it your help or people who work with you, your employees, and people who help you with your day-to-day living, their children. So there are things when he knows that this is extra. There are these many gifts that have come extra because we all have those extravagant birthday parties, how much ever you try to tone it down. One is on the birthday, you go to the orphanage, you start learning to give. And more than anything else, you start learning to give at home. So in that, these are the gifts that have come. He starts keeping the gifts aside, that this goes to this, and everybody, the help in the house is called Bhaiya, Didi. There is no, this thing. So he keeps it aside for this Bhaiya's son, this Didi's child, the extra pencils, the notebooks. Wastage is never encouraged. Like now, today, the new thing is that are you having a shower or are you having a bucket bath? That can be a big discussion, but a child needs to understand that there are people dying and killing themselves because there's a drought in the city. You're not going to be wasting the water. Yes. So he is going to an elite school, no doubt, but he needs to understand that this is the privilege he is getting, and this privilege also means that you have to give this privilege back in your own small way. So in between his friend's mother works in a really lovely organization where you have to give it time, where you take on these children, which is called the Angel Express, and you give the time and you teach those children. You teach them English, which the normal government schools, they're not very strong with, or help them with subjects that, because you had the education, you can teach them that. And I have my friends' children who are 12 and 13 who go there and teach these children, younger children. They help them with their English, they help them with their other, whatever subjects they're having difficulty with. They spend time and they're teaching them. And that's the way I think that this topic went back.
I want to take on from where she's just said, I think the schools and colleges can do a lot in this.
So they're not going to let you go. They're like,
Absolutely.
no, why should I do this? You tell me the logic behind it. And you're like, I don't have time to tell you the logic. But you just have to understand.
It's very
it doesn't
interesting
work
how
anymore.
someone who's a granddad, Mr. Bachchan, wrote the foreword for my book, and he writes and he says you need to give them roots and you need to give them wings.
Yeah.
So it's so beautiful, you know. So you have to be a parent and you also have to be a
I think
friend.
Sonali's, from her world, we should say that you have to play a double role. You have to be also stern and you have to tell your child when he's wrong and he needs to be told. I'm sorry, this whole thing about I'm only a friend to my thing doesn't work. I must say, and it doesn't work even. Today I think my students respect me because they know when I'm going to tell them something, it is in their interest. I think that double role has to be there. When my eyebrows start twitching, my son knows that it's time, he can't take any more.
That's it. Rupal, any last words on this fine line about
I would actually think respect plays a very crucial role in that, and
Who are not parents have been children, and I think we have equal amount of questions about the parenting
Yes.
issue.
You have a question? Sure.
Can you hear me? Okay. I don't have, I'm not posing this question to anyone in particular, but I have a 4-year-old and I have a 3-month-old. And, I'm constantly trying to find the balance. Like my 4-year-old comes up to me and says, Mama, you're my best friend. But the thing is, when I have to reprimand him, like Minnie said, we're all, read somewhere that you said that, at the end of the day, moms have to be the bad witches. We're like, clean this up, do that, get into bed, do that, do that. So he looks up at me in a time when I'm stressed because my 3-month-old, is crying and I'm like trying to get him to bed. He's like, why are you always yelling at me? Why are you always angry at me? Be happy with me. So how do you walk that thin line? How do you say you need to be disciplined, but do it in a nice way, please? How do you put that? How do moms do that? Because dads sure don't want to walk that line.
Rupal, you want to answer that?
so basically
With your children, you kind of choose the battles, and every battle can't be won and be fought all the time. So you choose them, and what is the most important thing? Because then, like you said, you're going to be finding fault with everything, and that's what ends up happening. So you choose the battles, and there are certain things that you let go, and you say that everything doesn't have to be perfect. Let it be. These things are going to be, but this is not, spilling something or something being a little dirty for a little while is not going to be dangerous. But if you're doing something that is dangerous, that needs to be stopped right at that point. So choose your battles would be a better option in that sense. And another thing that I discovered was that me trying to teach my child or sit when he's doing his schoolwork is the worst thing possible, because that's where the battleground starts. So
Really? Tell
that's
me more.
something I pick myself out of. I'm not equipped to deal with it. I understand that, I accept it, and I don't get into it. So he does his schoolwork the way he wants to do it. He does it with his teachers, because that interaction that I have with him, I realized was only full of stress, and I don't want that stress with him. So you have to let go of a few things and choose the battles. Dr. Shahani wrote the foreword for my book, and when I sent it to her, that was the first thing she said. I understand in this digital age, she was fully clued in. She got everything that I was saying, and she was more clued in and more as young as we were. And I was like, Dr. Shahani is like so cool about it, and she got everything that we were saying, and that's the whole thing, because she's moving with them. She's seeing all the kids that are coming in.
If I don't do
the
it,
new challenges.
I'll have no attendance in my class.
Yeah, absolutely.
Young is as young thinks, Dr. Shahani. Isn't it? Alright, is your question answered? Yeah.
There's just a few things that I would say that, it's not like I don't think parenting is collapsing or anything. Basically, parents all want the good for the child. They want. So sometimes the parents who themselves are a bit misguided about what the good actually is. So, that is the issue I feel sometimes. Also, the thing is that the challenge today that we face is that we are in a digital age. Like my son told me something which was really, he said, oh mom, I'm 10 years old, YouTube is as old as me. I said, YouTube has only been around for 10 years and I am technologically challenged, and yet I'm so used to YouTube. So, suddenly in last 10 years, the whole concept of a lot of things has changed so drastically. For my son, he's not looking up to some musician as a star or a rock star, a hero worshipping just some sports person, but there are YouTubers that they are more keen on. They're not interested in television, they're more interested in the YouTubers, the blogging. So, here are these young 16-year-olds who are millionaires and billionaires, and they are the examples for your child who's watching it. And I have no clue. 10 years back, I had no clue that there would be a profession like this. So honestly, when I'm going to tell my child to do something, I am learning. I keep telling myself I'm learning. I don't know. 10 years ago, this was not there. 10 years later, I don't know what the world is going to be like, what they are going to grow up into. So there are going to be certain things that are never going to change.
And parents will need
And
to
that is
evolve
your
with the children.
values, your roots that are never going to change. So give them the values, give them the roots, because you cannot anticipate what is going to happen 10 years later. Let them have the values and roots which will see them through all that is to come.
No, but you know, this is one big challenge I face with my teachers. You won't believe the battle that I have with my teachers.
Yeah.
So first of all मैं यही कहना चाहूँगी कि हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर ने जो ये एक्टिविटी शुरू की है, जो ये इनिशिएटिव लिया है, so I think for me it's a really good step forward, because you know things are changing. It's a digital world now. Parenting has its own challenges. पहले की तरह नहीं कि हो जाएगा, उससे होता नहीं है. So in fact जो मैंने किताब लिखी थी, The Modern Gurukul, has been based on the same thing, because it's become more and more challenging. So in that sense, I think this is a great initiative जहाँ पे at least एक बात तो शुरू हो रही है, conversation शुरू हो रहा है, जहाँ पे एक kind of forum बने, जहाँ पे लोग अपने problems लेके आए, उसके बारे में चर्चा हो, because कोई भी नई चीज़ हो और उसके बारे में जब तक discussion नहीं होगा, वो बात को solve नहीं किया जा सकता या उससे आगे नहीं बढ़ा जा सकता. So I think this is a great initiative. And other thing is that it's lovely when corporates take up steps like this. So you know, if you want to do certain activities, you need certain amount of funding. It's a great thing that they are doing this and they're funding it, and we're having a very logical and a very important discussion.
And कैसा experience होता है ऐसे debates attend करने में?
So this was one of my first ones, and it's great because like I said कि ये conversation बहुत ज़रूरी है, ये बातें करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. So जब भी ये discussion होता है, हर बार मैं भी कुछ नया सीख के जाती हूँ, कोई और सीख के जाता है, तो ये जो when you meet और जो ये exchange of ideas होता है, वो बहुत ज़रूरी है.
And जैसे कि कई बार बच्चे कुछ और करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन माँ बाप कुछ और चाहते हैं बच्चों से करना.
जी.
उन्हें फोर्स किया जाता है कुछ और करने के लिए. तो
जी.
उस पर आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे? आप
मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ कि एक फ़ाइन लाइन है. डेफिनेटली बच्चों को डायरेक्शन दिखाना ज़रूरी है, लेकिन फोर्स और डायरेक्शन दिखाने में बहुत फ़र्क है, और वो फाइन लाइन मेंटेन करना बहुत ज़रूरी है.
उनको मैम फोर्स किया जाता है कि तुम ये मत करो, ऐसा पढ़ाई
नहीं, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग कि उनको डायरेक्शन दिखाना कि ये रास्ते आप चूज़ कर सकते हो, बहुत ज़रूरी है, लेकिन फोर्स करना डेफिनेटली नॉट.
मैम जैसे कि आपने एक बुक अभी आपने लिखी है
जी.
मॉडल ऑफ गुरुकुल, एंड सेकंड भी आप लिख रहे हैं, उसके बारे में क्या बताना चाहेंगे?
वेल सेकंड के आइडियाज़ हैं और आई थिंक आई नीड टू गेट ऑन टू इट, लेकिन अभी तक टाइम नहीं मिला है. आई विल जब रणवीर की छुट्टियां शुरू हो जाएंगी, आई एम डेफिनेटली गोइंग टू सिट एंड वर्क दैट आउट.
ये जो आपकी सेकंड जो बुक है, ये भी मतलब बच्चों पर ही आधारित है?
आई डोंट नो स्टिल. वेट एंड वॉच. एंड उसको थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा. आई एम गोइंग टू टेक अ लिटिल ब्रेक एंड देन गो इनटू द बुक.
एंड आप एक शो भी लाने वाले हैं सेकंड, एक बच्चों का एक टॉक शो, उसके बारे में क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
वेल how do you get to hear it? अभी तक कुछ भी फाइनलाइज नहीं है. सो लेट्स सी हाउ इट गोज. इट डिपेंड्स.
थैंक यू.
थैंक यू.
मैम एक मैम गुड विशेष चाहिए थी. ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर न्यू शो मेट्रो. हाय सोनाली.
For more news and gossips, don't forget to subscribe to Bollywood Helpline.